everyone, Joy here. I'm back with this week's Minimalist home tour. For this week's Minimalist home tour intro, I wasn't sure what to talk about, so I did live streaming the other night just to kind of catch up with my subscribers and viewers and see what they think, if they have any suggestions, you know, bouncing ideas. And then one of my customers, the subscribers asked me why I became a minimalist. And this is something that I talked about before. It's about time that I kind of touch up on that. I didn't really have words for what minimalism was. And I think it's kind of a common experience for most people who are not familiar with the term minimalism or didn't grow up in a minimalist household per se. Even if you were practicing minimalism before, you know what I mean? I'm a minimalist because, you know, even as a child, and I'm not even saying this to like, you know, be like, oh, I was different as a child, but you know, this is really how I was. You know, we'll go visit my grandparents and they'll give me a little bit of money, $5, $10, something like this. And they would always tell me, you know, go buy some snacks. And I never bought snacks with that money, even as a little kid. Because in my mind, you know, eating a snack or something, it's not permanent, right? Because as a child, like, you know, I see that it's gone and it's very temporary pleasure. And I wasn't really interested in anything temporary. You know, I decided to buy some toys and stuff like that. And then they also got boring after a while. If you keep buying toys, like there's the pleasure is temporary, unless you have a very special connection with this toy that you have, which is another topic. So eventually what I started doing very soon was I started buying these colored clays that I can do craft with, right? Rubber clays to be specific. And they were actually more like 50 cents. And I will buy, you know, a bunch of those. And what I'll do is I'll make like miniature figures, right? Like mini cats, mini dogs. I'm thinking maybe I can do like a special video someday where I show you how I make miniature figures using rubber clay and stuff like that. I'm quite good at it. I'm a little bit out of practice because, you know, I haven't been a child for a minute, but you know, it still stays with you, I think. Yeah, so I will make these miniature figures, which means I was entertained the whole time that I was making them, right? And then, you know, I was able to be creative. Nothing was boring because I can choose to make what I want. And the best part is once I made these figures, you know, I played with them for a while and I could also like basically turn them into a lump again and make something else, so on and so forth. But eventually I sort of figured out that I could just give these away as well when I'm bored with making them. And what happened was whenever I'll give people the things that I made as a present, they were so moved by it. And the reaction that I got, you know, just imagine this, right? As a child, you're giving someone, you know, usually someone a little older than you, maybe adult, something that you made and they're like, wow, you're a genius, you know, you're an artist. And that level of like love and compliment, you know, this type of like human interaction, that's something that you can't really buy. And I was hooked. Do you know what I mean? I was hooked with the practice of making things with my own hands, creating something which was entertaining on its own for me and also very satisfying once I create the thing that I envision. Because, you know, it's like an innate satisfaction that you have because you're meeting a challenge that you set for yourself, and it's also very fun for you, right? And when I give them away to people, they're so appreciative, and then you feel this love and you feel this admiration, you feel this appreciation. And you know, if you haven't, you know, I'm sure you have, but if you haven't actively tried to make someone's life better and see how happy you can make somebody, I recommend you try it sometimes. I think there's a misconception sometimes in people thinking when you give to somebody, when you're too nice to someone, you're making a bad deal for yourself. And I would like to argue that's not true at all. And only people who know the true joy of giving understands this. And there is certain element, I would like to say, even selfishness in the act of giving and making someone else's life better. But if you are benefiting you and the other person, could you really call that selfish? Do you know what I mean? Even if you're doing it for your own happiness. So yeah, you know, that's another one of those beautiful things in life where two things can be true at once, right? You could be selfish and also non-selfish when you give things away, when you make somebody happy, when you treat someone right, so on and so forth. So yeah, I was hooked by the experience. So I guess I would like to say, you know, even as a child, I learned the importance of, you know, object above, yeah, like something permanent, right? If I own an object, yeah, it is certainly better than like a snack that's you're gonna forget about. But then something above that is actually creation, right? You create something, but then something above that is sharing the creation with others. So it's almost like self-transcendent experience. You know what they say, like the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? Basic survival is down here, and then there's, social needs, and then the ultimate is self-actualization. And I would like to argue something above that is helping others self-actualize as well, just adding to others' lives. Because as I said before, I made this video somewhere recently where I talk about how I believe the only way any of us can, basically live forever, eternally, is if we share certain things with others, right? The type of legacy that would live on with other people long after you're gone. And in order for you to do that, you do have to share. You have to share, I don't know, your opinion, your stories. You have to share the experience with others. And that's really the only way you can have far-reaching impact that could last way longer than after you're gone. Yeah, and that's it got very philosophical, but that's essentially why minimalism appealed to me as a person, because it's kind of transcending the simple act of owning things that you could get bored of, right? Yeah, and that's why I do this channel. Even if my home essentially remains the same, there's always some sort of story to be shared. There's always little changes that I can share with others, because that's where I see the value of what I'm doing and what I think minimalism can help people do. There's a classic example of the parents, instead of worrying about cleaning their house, they can take that time, if they don't have as many stuff, spending time with their children, making memories, and your children are also other people. Like, they can help carry your thoughts, your values, the experiences that you showed your children, the love that they felt, the wisdom that you share with them, that could live on, and then they can also affect other people. That's why it's kind of beautiful that none of us live in a bubble. And I'm very, very much aware that everything that I say or do, and anybody who comes in contact with me in my life, is going to be affected by me in one way or the other. And if we have a choice to make that impact more positive than negative, I think we should try and strive for that. Although we might fall short at times. I don't think I'm a particularly nice person, and I refuse to claim that I'm a nice person. But I do try to be nice. I do try to do the right thing. Partly because I'm aware of the impact that it could have. If you could choose to make someone cry or make someone smile, and it doesn't really affect how you live your life, why would you choose to make someone cry? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, so that's a philosophical reason for doing minimalism for me. And then after that, it's just minor details, right? For those of you who are new to my channel, maybe you don't know this, but I sort of spent my teenage years abroad. I lived for about 6 years in a completely different country. I went to 3 different junior high schools, one of them in Korea and the other 2 elsewhere. And then I went to 2 different high schools, 3 different colleges. And, the last one I sort of stuck by for a longer time, but, and I'm used to moving around. So I was used to having to let go of not only the stuff that I own, because I'm moving around a lot, but also having to let go of people and relationships, even if I still love them, even if I still value the relationship. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes our circumstances don't allow us to hold on to everything that we come into contact with our lives, whether it's, again, relationship, which is intangible things, or objects that are tangible. Humans, we have tendency to sort of basically try to convince ourselves to undervalue the things that we have to let go. Sometimes just because you let go of an item, an object, that doesn't mean you don't value the object. When you end the relationship with someone, there's usually still some sort of residual feeling. Sometimes not. Maybe it was a slow dying one. But instead of vilifying the other person, I've sort of learned to realize maybe, I've grown out of them, certainly, and they've probably grown out of me also. Or sometimes it's just not a good match, right? Like, you cannot give them what they're looking for. Let's say if they're looking for a bargain wife and you don't want to be a bargain wife, then that's not a match. Do you know what I mean? If you're ambitious, and you have a vision for your life, and your partner, although they love you, cannot help themselves from wanting to interfere with your vision, then they're just not right for you. But then maybe this person that you're walking away from, maybe there's someone out there who are looking for exactly what it is that they're offering. Same thing with objects. You might think that luxury bag that you have, I keep using the example because I do have luxury bags. I'm thinking about getting rid of some of them. I'm not sure yet. But I'm very much aware, you know, if I were to, I don't know, sell my bag or give away my bag or whatever, I'm aware that I'm not the only person who's going to appreciate that bag. I know there's certainly people out there who will appreciate these objects. Thing with the clay figures that I made. You know, I play with them for a while and then I get bored. But when I gift them, it can make somebody's day. It can make them very happy. It could entertain them. Then they could gift this to somebody. And this is what I mean, you know, oftentimes I think we confuse the act of giving up an object or a relationship or giving away as an act of being cold, right? You don't appreciate that. On the contrary, you know, just as how parents have to let go of their children when they grow older and let them live their own lives, even objects can be seen through those lenses. You might be thinking like, oh, nobody else will appreciate this thing that I have, right? I watched this videos about like people who hoard things, right? They will even hoard trash, being like, nobody else will value this. But what if somebody will value that though? You think you're the only person who value that plastic bottle cap, but what if somebody else needs it to create an art and craft project? You never know. Maybe there's some students out on the landfill looking for a bunch of products for their art project and you're keeping it from them. I always say, as long as you're not harming anybody on purpose, or you're not being destructive on purpose, you're not taking away other people's rights, so on and so forth. There's nothing wrong with seeing things through positive lens. Again, I'm not inviting you to be, you know, have toxic positivity. And this is why I always like remind people, no, I'm not nice. I'm average. I try to be nice. But I digress. But you see, there's no harm in, for instance, especially if you have so much clutter that's keeping you from living your best life, that's keeping you from inviting better items into your life. If you're in again, like a relationship that has become toxic for each other, therefore you cannot move on, you cannot find something better. Perhaps letting go is the most empathetic thing you can do. It is the best thing that you can do for that person and for that object as well. This intro has become a little longer than I intended. There are other stories that I could share with y'all. The times when I did major declutter, the times when I moved and stuff like that. And those things I can touch on in the future. But I just want to talk about, I suppose, the philosophical aspect and why I was personally drawn to minimalism. And I hope you enjoyed this intro. And without further ado, let's start this week's Minimalist Home Tour. Let's go! Hello everyone, we'll start this week's Minimalist Home Tour in the living room area / bedroom as usual. Obviously, I started putting my head away from all the chargers and fridge, like one of my subscribers have asked me to do, which I think is very good. I've been able to sleep quite well like that. And of course, there's a bunch of laundry here as usual, and I hang my coat and stuff like that right there on the door handle. And my off-season clothes are in here, and of course, all my in-season clothes and miscellaneous items are up here. And as you can see, most of them are folded away. Any clean laundry that needs folding stays in here as usual. And these are clothes up here because I've actually worn these at least once. So these are not completely clean. That's why I don't keep them there. But yeah, this is kind of how I like compartmentalize different areas for my clothing needs. And of course, there's like food, frozen food, and food trash. And yeah, there's a bunch of food that that was like kimchi soup that I ordered in the other day. I actually need to throw that away soon, but I didn't do that yet because I just didn't. And of course, over here, I actually took a shower before sleeping. So you can see it's a little bit wet, but there's my shampoo and conditioner, cleaning supplies in that corner. And of course, a bunch of my hygiene products over here. One thing I do want to point out is I did use one of my toners, which was the green toner, and then now I'm able to use this big toner. It's very nice. It's like collagen, very soft. I love it. And yeah, that's my bathroom. And we'll move into the kitchen as usual. Before we go, this is very cold winter, and you can see we have floor heating. So my home's usually very warm. So sometimes I'll tuck my feet under the mattress, which would be very warm usually. So yeah, and as you can see over here, there's trash that needs taken out, which I didn't do yet, obviously. And of course, got my laundry machine. There's just an empty paper bag. I don't know what to do with it. Maybe I'll use it to carry some shoes or something. And those are my cute boots. And let's move up here. These are the dishes that I need to do that I didn't do yet. I've got my Brita for filtering out water. Here's like a little bit of my jewelry right up there. You can see my kitchen needs some cleaning, and that's okay. And down here, yeah, just a bunch of, trash bags and stuff like that. Nothing special. And my yoga mat's also in there. There's such an eyesore right here. I need to take the trash out. I'll do it tomorrow morning. And up here, of course, I've got a bunch of miscellaneous items as usual. Yeah, it's a little messy right now because, as you can see, I've been kind of struggling with housekeeping. But even then, it's not too many stuff. So my home's never too difficult to clean up. And yeah, that's the home tour for this week. And let's just go to the outro. So that was my Minimalist home tour. I hope you liked it. If you liked it, please like and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time with more content. Bye! 안녕!